Imagine walking out your front door and everything you need, your job, your grocery store, your doctor, your kid's school, is just a 15-minute walk or bike ride away. No car needed. No traffic. No parking. This isn't a utopian fantasy. It's happening right now. Cities across the world are systematically pushing cars out, redesigning streets that have been built around automobiles for a century, and betting everything on a radically different vision of urban life. Paris is banning cars from the city center. Barcelona is creating superblocks where cars simply cannot enter. London's congestion charges have made driving so expensive that car ownership is collapsing among young people. Even American cities, built entirely around the automobile, are starting to follow. But here's what nobody's telling you. This isn't just about the environment. This is about power, money, and control over how billions of people will live their daily lives. And whether you love this idea or hate it, it's coming to a city near you. Let's start with the facts on the ground. In 2024, Paris banned through traffic from most of the city center. Streets that once carried thousands of cars per day are now pedestrian plazas, bike lanes, and outdoor cafes. The city has removed over 60,000 parking spaces in the last 5 years alone. That's not a policy tweak. That's a revolution. Barcelona's Superblocks program has transformed entire neighborhoods. 9 blocks at a time are converted into car-free zones where only residents, deliveries, and emergency vehicles can enter. The result? Playgrounds where parking lots used to be. Trees where there was asphalt. Neighbors actually talking to each other on the street. London charges drivers £15 per day just to enter central London. New York has congestion pricing launching in Manhattan. Oslo has made its city center essentially car-free. Milan, Madrid, Brussels, they're all following the same playbook. And here's what's remarkable. The politicians doing this keep getting re-elected. And Hidalgo won Paris on a platform of removing cars. Ada Colau did the same in Barcelona. Turns out, once people experience life without traffic, they don't want to go back. So why is this happening now? 3 forces are converging at once. First, climate change has made the status quo politically untenable. Transportation is responsible for about 25% of global CO2 emissions, and personal vehicles are the biggest chunk of that. Cities that signed climate commitments in Paris in 2015 are now realizing they actually have to do something. Car reduction is the fastest, cheapest way to cut urban emissions. Second, the economics have flipped. For decades, cities subsidized cars through free parking, highway expansion, and zoning that required parking minimums. The true cost of car infrastructure was hidden. Now cities are broke, and they're realizing that car-centric development is financially ruinous. Dense, walkable neighborhoods generate far more tax revenue per acre than suburban sprawl. The math has changed. Third, and this is the one nobody talks about, real estate. Land currently used for roads and parking is enormously valuable. In Manhattan, parking spaces sell for over $200,000 each. When cities reclaim street space, someone's going to make a fortune. Follow the money, and the car-free movement makes a lot more sense. This brings us to the 15-minute city, the idea driving most of these changes. The concept is simple. Every resident should be able to reach work, shopping, healthcare, education, and entertainment within 15 minutes by foot, bike, or public transit. No car required. It means ending the separation of where we live from where we work and shop. It means mixed-use zoning, where apartments sit above grocery stores and offices. It means investing in local infrastructure instead of highways. The godfather of this idea is Carlos Moreno, a professor at the Sorbonne who advised on Hidalgo's Paris transformation. His argument is that the 20th century city was designed around the car, but the 21st century city must be designed around people. And the data supports him. Studies show that people in walkable neighborhoods are healthier, have lower rates of obesity and heart disease, report higher life satisfaction, and even have more friends. When you can walk to meet someone, you actually do it. When you need to drive 20 minutes, you often just stay home. The car, designed to give us freedom, ended up isolating us. But here's the critical question. If we get rid of cars, how do people actually get around? The answer is a combination of modes that already exist but need massive investment. Electric buses and trams for medium distances. Protected bike lanes that even children can use safely. Subways and light rail for longer trips. Walking for everything close by. E-bikes and scooters to extend range without breaking a sweat. The poster child is Amsterdam, where over 60% of all trips in the city center are made by bicycle. But here's what most people don't know. Amsterdam wasn't always like this. In the 1970s, it was as car-clogged as any American city. The transformation was deliberate, planned, and took decades of sustained investment. What makes it work is the network effect. When enough people bike or take transit, you reach a tipping point where it becomes faster and more convenient than driving. You're no longer the weird one on a bike in traffic. You're the smart one cruising past gridlock. Not everyone is celebrating, and the backlash has been fierce. In the UK, conspiracy theories about 15-minute cities have gone viral. Some claim it's a plot to create open-air prisons, where residents need permission to leave their neighborhood. This is, to be clear, completely false. No city is restricting movement. They're restricting cars, not people. But underneath the conspiracy theories, there are legitimate concerns. What about people who can't bike? What about the elderly and disabled? What about deliveries and tradespeople who need vehicles? What about people who live in suburbs or rural areas where none of this works? And here's the uncomfortable truth. These policies often hurt working-class people first. The wealthy can afford to live in newly desirable walkable neighborhoods. The poor get pushed to the periphery, where cars are still necessary but now more expensive to operate. Without careful policy design, car-free cities risk becoming playgrounds for the rich while everyone else commutes from further away. So where does this end? The optimists envision cities transformed. Streets that are parks. Children playing where cars once parked. Cleaner air, quieter neighborhoods, communities reconnected after decades of isolation. They point to places like Copenhagen and Amsterdam as proof that it works, that people are happier, healthier, and more connected. The pessimists see something darker. A two-tier system where the privileged walk through garden neighborhoods while the working class sits in traffic on ring roads. A loss of freedom and flexibility that cars genuinely provide. A social engineering project imposed from above. The reality will probably be somewhere in between. The car isn't disappearing entirely. But its dominance over our cities, a dominance so complete that we barely notice it, is ending. The question isn't whether cities will change. They already are. The question is who benefits, who decides, and whether we design this transition with everyone in mind, or just the lucky few. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, subscribe for more videos on the forces shaping our future.